Hey gang, Demir from Lifehack Method. Now in this series, we've been covering the 4 steps that we use to get through a crisis, take back control, and step into positive action. So step 1 was looking at our shattered expectations, mourning them, and developing an acceptance practice. In step 2, we harnessed negative visualization to reclaim our focus from unproductive, fear-based thinking and anxiety. In step 3, we started using a gratitude practice to regenerate positive outlook. And now, in the final step, we're resetting a plan and we're taking positive action. Now, what's funny about this is actually the last step, but most people want to take this as the first step. Think about it. Something bad happens in your life, and the first thing you want to do is go back out there and retake control, set a new plan, and dash off in a new direction because it gives us a false sense of controlling a situation that we actually don't have any control over. Now, the problem with this is it's like breaking up with somebody and then going and getting into a relationship with somebody else the very next day. Maybe it makes you feel better in the short run, but it's not actually a successful strategy in the long run. We know we need to take time and process before we jump into a new relationship, and making a new plan is exactly the same way. So tip number 1, don't rush to create a new plan. Gang, sometimes it's okay to operate without a plan. Just gather information. So think about how much more you know about this pandemic's effect than we did, say, just 2 months ago, and in 2 months from now, we'll have even more information. Gang, there's periods in life when you're moving from one situation where you know things to a situation where you don't know things, and it's okay for a while to just gather information and play defense and self-resource. But once you finish the first 3 steps of this process, then you will be ready to create a new plan. So tip number 2, just start the year over. Many of you guys are familiar with our process for planning out the year. And when my plan for the year just got swept out from under me, I took time to mourn and I took time to process, and then I just started the year over. I just created a new plan. And yes, it's okay to start the year right in the middle. I just planned for a 6-month year instead of a 12-month year, and I just sized my ambitions down accordingly. Tip number 3, don't model the new plan on the old plan. Planning itself is a great tool, but it does actually have its downsides. There's a concept in psychology called mental anchoring, which is just where we lock onto an idea and we just can't let go of it. And sometimes we just get so locked in on one idea of success that we stop seeing all the other ways that we could be happy and the ways that we could be successful. So try to do yourself a favor and break free from the old plan and use new information to create what is probably going to be a completely new plan. Now, it might end up looking a little bit like the old plan, but it's probably going to be a completely new path to success. Bigger the crisis, the bigger the change in plan. And finally, tip number 4. Some of my clients commit to a new plan too quickly, but a lot of others are wait way too long. They're the analyzers who want that perfect information before they take any action. But gang, perfect information doesn't exist. So if you're an analyzer, just remember, there's no better information than the information that comes from taking action. Sure, books, classes, newsletters, those are all great sources of information, but all too often we forget the best information by far just comes from getting your hands dirty, getting in there and taking action. You can read all the books you want about shooting a basketball, but you got to go on the court and do it a lot to get any better at it. So set the best plan that you can with the information that you have today, and then get out there and take a lot of positive action, and you'll get more information about how to modify the plan, how to navigate your way to success. Okay, gang, this was the final video in our 4-part series on getting through a crisis. Just to recap, step 1 was looking at our shattered expectations, mourning them, and developing an acceptance practice, realizing that we're not in control. Step number 2 was harnessing negative visualization to reclaim our focus away from fear-based thinking and anxiety and towards positivity. Step 3 was when we actually used a gratitude practice to practice regenerating positive outlook. And finally, the last step, step 4, was setting a new plan and taking positive action. Now, if you missed out on one of these videos, I'm going to link them below in the description. I'd love to read your feedback in the comments, and be sure to tell us how you've gotten through a crisis. Share any tips you have. Gang, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're obsessed with human potential and living your best life like I am, consider subscribing to this channel so we can get you more of this amazing content in the future. See you in the next video.